Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. We're very lucky today because we've got Dart from LOTATC with us. Say hello, Dart.
Hello all.
Thank you for coming. So this is the third of the big three interviews of, if you like, add-ons for DCS World. LOTATC, SRS, so standalone radio system, and TACView. We've interviewed Franz from TACView, we've interviewed Bob from SRS, and now we've got Dart from LOTATC. So these programs came from bits that were missing, if you like, from SRS, from DCS. So they didn't have a radio emulator, at least at the time, in DCS. I think they're sort of working on one now. But SRS came in. Bob created that to emulate radios. They didn't have a way of analysing flights afterwards, if you like, with DCS and other flight sims. So France created TACView, so you can go in and view your flight or do a proper debrief. And Dart filled the gap for a requirement for realistic ATC and GCI. So, for instance, if we do a big mission in DCS, we have 20 to 50 players, and then one or two GCIs, we call them. And they are guys who will not fly an aeroplane. They will be a pretend AWACS or a pretend control tower. Now, in DCS, that sort of works because he will essentially sit in the F10 map and control people from there. But it's not realistic. The F10 map in DCS is not realistic. You can have a few options, like see everyone, or see just your coalition, or see no one. But the problem with it is that A, it's not very intuitive because it's just designed to be a map, and B, it's not realistic. Things are not taken into account, like a line of sight. So if I was an AWACS and a friendly could not be seen by the AWACS, it doesn't worry about things like that. It doesn't take that into account. Hence, it's not realistic at all. So Dart made LOTATC to fill that space, to give us a realistic way of doing ATC/GCI. GCI, I should say, is ground coordinated intercept. It's the guy who's going to do the combat side of control. ATC is going to do the kind of landing and general navigation side of control. Would you be happy that I've explained that okay, Dart?
Yes, that is exactly that. When I started to make simulation, there was missing some things, the capacity to have the complete picture of the battlefield. And as you said, the F10 maps is nice to see, but it's not realistic. It is better to have something more realistic, to have the problem with mountains, with the radar coverage. And my goal was to do something that emulates that with DCS. So I started a long time ago with Locon Flaming Cliff in 2006, and since a long time I developed that, and now we have something that's working great and make a good emulation of a radar coverage.
Roger. So I didn't realise it was all the way back then. So that's 14 years ago this has been going. And the other programs have been going quite a time as well. Right, wow. Because we've only been into it recently. Then again, we've not really had GCIs for more than maybe 2 years. So we had no need for it. It was no use for us until now. And now we have proper full-time GCI type guys. Okay, so that's where it came from, and that's why where it came from. What would you say the main, before we start asking the viewers questions, what would you say the main benefits, selling points, if you like, differences for LOTATC to what DCS has in its just basic map view?
Yes. With F10 maps, you see all units on the map. You have a war zone that can be displayed, but it's not really nice. LOTATC is more than that. He gets all radars on the map, ground radar, air radar, ships radar, and he makes a complete radar coverage of all, and emulate if all contact is seen through the mountains or in the the conic zone of radar, because, for example, AWACS see nothing at the same level of him. You must be below or above to be seen, and that's the goal of LOTATC. Then LOTATC also have an ATC part that allow you to make control on an airdrome and of a carrier, and you can help pilots to land with a glide path and things like that. Also, you can make drawing over the tactical situation to make zone, to make to not where a pilot has been ejected or something like that. So there is a lot of extra features that make a lot more than a simple F10 map.
Roger. So you're getting into the realms there of dynamic campaigns. Where's a pilot been dropped so we can send a Huey out to go and get him in the next mission or something like that, right?
Exactly, that's happened regularly. I make a flight with the MV, an Italian group. 1 month ago, we were 80 people, 80
Wow.
pilots, and 10 controllers, all in the same coalition. It was very great, and the controllers not where pilots has been ejected and send some helicopters to get them for Caesar. It was very, very great event.
Awesome. Okay. Now, we don't want to create a big hour-long tutorial because we've actually already done that with LOTATC, and I'll link that in the video description if you want to watch it. But can we just have just a few minutes, Dart, of you just showing us some basic stuff of how you would use it, and we can see your screen, so you can just describe what you're doing.
Yes, of course. So here there is a DCS that's running behind with LOTATC. Sorry, I always say LOTAC because it's a nickname of the project. So LOTATC server is running through DCS, and I am connected with my client as a Blue. So we are here all the complete tactical situation. The mission is over Caucasus. And we have here Roxanne, that is an AWACS. We can see here some information about it. So this is AWACS. It's spotted and tracked, and we have ground speed currently moving up. And he makes the coverage for all that. So in white we see friends, and in red we see enemies. Here there is a ground unit, air unit, and I can help these two guys here to defend AWACS. Here there is a bandit that's coming, so I can tell them that there is at 135 nauticals at 050 there is a bandit, so they can begin to move and go there. As a controller, I have no clue if it's a human or AI. It's the goal to be linked with SRS, for example, to be able to talk with them. And as a controller, I can do some chess game to be able to get the superiority in the air. So to do that, I can do some standard bra, but I can also do some special feature like that. It's make a permanent bra between this contact and this contact, so I can make the diffusion easily, and it's be updated every time. It can also be sent to directly to the pilot through the chat system. So in flight, in DCS, in the chat, the pilot will receive the bra. So it's easily if you have not radio. And you have also the part of the ATC system. So here we have a pilot capability. I can go in capability, so I can choose capability here and see the airport directly. So this is a Mi-8 that is running over the airport, but I can see all aircraft that is on a taxiway and help them to find the right runway, and also to why not take the approach here and help them to land with the glide path here. So they will appear here, and I can get them to land correctly and safely. Of course, you can all charts available for this airport, and etc. etc. There is a lot of option that to that, and I can do either GCI or IATC or the both. It's depend of the number of controller and the number of pilots you have in the mission. But as I said before, I see some mission with 10 and more controllers, one for each zone, one for taxi, one for ground, etc. etc. There are also the bullseye management, of course. So bullseye is directly extracted from DCS, like all other data. That's the great things in LOTATC is that all data are extracted from DCS. So all radar characteristic, all names, all information, all taxiway, all airports, and everything like that. So it's one of the biggest things I do in background, but it lets you to have great information. Here we see that we have an interception available, so I can also help. If pilots take a 070 in 12 minutes, he will be on the contacts.
That's clever, man.
So here a fast draw. There is also all the drawing parts, so you can do drawing directly. All things you do in LOTAC client, so drawing, color change, edition of contact, etc., is automatically shared with all other controllers of your coalition. So if I take this contact here and I say, okay, it's not more pending, it's a fighter, symbol will be updated and all controller will have the information. So you can easily share information between controllers, and it helps to share the sky with different controllers.
So when we do our big dynamic campaigns, we often have two controllers per side, one working the west side, one working the east side for the same coalition. So you're saying that they can interact with each other through LOTAC, like you were showing there?
If controllers are in the same coalition, they can interact. If they are in the separate coalition, so one red, one blue, all information are totally separated, so they cannot communicate with between them. There is a channel. I have also an internal chat, so you can discuss with pilots or with all other controllers. But all drawing and symbol change or name are only for the coalition. That's also a thing important. So you can do PvP with separate controllers, and each one you cannot get information from the others.
Awesome. Okay.
What else? Of course, there is the integration of SRS and Univer Radio inside LOTATC that allow you to choose where you are virtually. So a controller can set, I am in Roxanne, so it will activate all the SRS function and radio function for that. So the range, etc., etc. And if a bandit finally shoots the AWACS, you will lose communication, but also the radar coverage, of course.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. One of the main things, isn't it? Because you've actually got a reason, really, to take that AWACS down, because you take the physical GTI human out, don't you?
Exactly, that's the goal, and it's quite challenging because if you do PvP with AWACS and you lose your AWACS, you lose the main information of the tactical view, and it's a great loss for you.
Roger. Okay, that's a good overview. And I know because I've looked into it before, there are loads and loads of sub options. It's a really good piece of software, this is. We're really impressed by it. Anything else you want to show before we start asking some viewer questions?
I don't know if you want to see now, but I have also a new version in preparation. So perhaps after question, I could show you
Yeah.
the news, and I think
Let's go and do that quickly then.
yeah,
See what...
it will be great. But we can ask question. I will change DCS because I need to change the LOTATC server version.
Okay then. Right, I'm going to load up my questions and let's see what we've got here. So, I don't know if you've seen our interviews, we just pass it over to the viewers to ask whatever questions they want. Sometimes they're hard to understand, but let's see how it goes. Question 1. How do you make it all work as in for the game? All right, already stuck. How do you make it all work as in for the game? Any idea what that means?
Yeah, I think you are talking about the fact that LOTATC server is totally integrated into the CS and can get all information.
How does that... How do you do that? Did you have to ask for the special permission for them, or is it information they give out willingly?
It's in brief history on that because it's interesting, I think. So I start with Flaming Cliff 2. At this time, it was just a small software for my squadron, the third wing, French squadron, and I begin to use exports to get the whole data. But with exports, we have some information, but not all. And when ED starts DCS in 2011. I begin to see how I can get more information, and I see that its export is not enough, and also that export is generally disabled on server. So I search for a new way to do that. And at the start of DCS code, I found a way to get all data. It was not hacking, cracking or something like that. I just found a way, and this way was now the official API of DCS because I talk with ED at this time, and we have a lot of discussion at this time, and they make this way as the standard API now. The all files in script hook, the game GUI, used now by SRS or TagView. So I begin to work with this API, and I work as reverse engineering a lot to retrieve data and data and data. So all data for all planes and all data for radars, then all data for airdromes, airports, and I spend a lot of time to get data from DCS because I think there was two ways to do that. Either I get all information in DCS, it's longer to do, but it's better for me because on each update of DCS, all data are always updated. There is no problem with that. And the other way could be to make a big database with all data that I get from DCS. But if I do that on each change in DCS, I was obliged to update this database, and it's not a good choice. So my choice was to extract all I can from DCS, and now, for example, when we get the new airport from Syria in a few weeks or months, automatically all airports will be displayed in LOTATC. The only thing I cannot do is the display of a taxiway because it's manual, but all other things, display of runway, approach, and everything like that will be automatically done by my extract of DCS. That's a huge work. As I said, I began in 2011, so it's near 10 years I do that, and it works well now. No.
Excellent. Very good story. Yeah, and we've never, as far as I'm aware, we've never seen any problems with it. So good work. Good
Yeah,
work.
it's totally transparent for user, and it's something that not a lot of user think, because you run DCS and automatically LOTATC server that it's installed is automatically launched and stock data and send data to LOTATC client. LOTATC client has no need of DCS. You can run in any computer without DCS, and all data that is display is coming from LOTATC server that stream the data to the clients at start.
Well, Joe, that's one benefit as well, because to run DCS, you need a very powerful machine, as you know, and a powerful machine is expensive, especially if you've got a big map like we do. But we can have a guy, a GCI, who doesn't even need a graphics card, really, does he?
Absolutely, and I can say that there is a lot of guys of user of LOTATC that have a business computer or laptop that are in when we can traveling, they were at hotel and they use LOTATC to make GCI from hotel with their laptop. That's very great and fun.
Very good. Okay, move on to question 2. The question is basically, is there a maximum, in DCS, a maximum amount of players that you can, if you like, host through LOTAC, or is there an effective maximum number of players before it starts going weird?
Good question. For LOTATC server, human player or AI is the same thing. It's a unit. So there is not difference for that, except for some extra feature, like I said before, to send chat or BRA information to the unit, but it's very little things. But all the rest is done at the same things. And so how many player? I can say there is no limit for LOTATC for that. I think DCS will crash before, but I run some mission for testing with more than 3,000 units and more than 150 radars by coalition, with 2 coalition active. So it begins to be a very a big picture to build, but it works really great with no trouble now.
Yeah, very good. Next question, very similar. What limitations of the in-game ATC airfields at its current state make LOTAC necessary? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I see. You can do ATC with DCS, but first there's the AI ATC, and we know all that it's currently in progress and ED because it's not good, and so you can do manually by using F10 or an F2 view from the tower. But what LOTATC give you some drawing to make zone, the approach point, something like that. You can also have the glide path, so you can see approach, and that you can do that in with DCS. I can show you this kind of things. It's not possible in DCS now, and I don't think this is something they want. So if you want to make ATC, it's better to do that, and you have a good view with LOTATC to have all planes that are coming. You can you are connected with radio systems, so you can do as in real life for ATC.
Roger, very good. Okay, let me bring my questions back. Where are we? Can LOTAC be used by multiple players of the same faction, i.e. working separate zones of airspace? Well, we've already covered that, and yes, the answer. But anything
Yes,
you
of course.
anything you want to add to that? Anything of interest you want to add to that?
That's it. Something that will be enhanced in the future with the kind of real system, like the capacity to set this unit is this controller, and then a controller they can say, I send you this unit to be monitored by you. So that's some new feature that will coming in the future, because LOTATC has become more and more powerful, and the cooperation between controllers is something I would like to add more in the future.
Roger. Next question. What are the upcoming new features and what is your vision for the future? Now, did you say that we're going to have a look at the new version today?
Yes, of course.
So-
it should be okay now. So it is the 2.20 beta 1, beta 2. So it's currently in closed beta in my community, and it will be available, I hope, for public in this month, certainly, depending of the bugs and something like that. So what is new? It's totally new because there is a new map engine and a new draw engine that allow me a lot more powerful things. And there is also a new system for classification. So respecting NATO, there's a lot of things. I can show you. So these things, for example. So there is all the NATO, more
look at that.
information.
That's your Hafu there,
And
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of things. You can switch faster with that. You see also more information about the types, and you can set also the subsystem. So yeah, automatically you know that Roxanne is the AWACS. So
Is this coming from the DCS Link 16 network? This information.
I would like, but it's currently not possible. It's something I discussed with ED. But actually, from now, I have no access to the internal data link. But I hope sometimes in the future I can connect mine to there. So it will be a very, very great thing for everybody, because it will do a lot of powerful things. But at this time, no, it's totally on my side. So here, that. For the new maps, I can show some great things. Up, for example, you can do tilting.
Look at that.
You can do rotation if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can do.
That was going to answer my next question. Is this actually a 3D map? Yes, it is, by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's not really a 3D map yet. It's something I will do certainly in future one day, not yet. It's just a tilting, so it's just.
Okay.
It's currently in 2D, but it allows you to show further.
Mm-hmm.
It could be it's simple things, but it's great. And you can also, for switching for better things like OpenStreetMap, so it's great for all the things that is on ground. And the biggest things that is not shown, but I will show you, just show that, is that I made what I call a Nonified view. So before, you have to click on airport view to open the airport view. Now it's totally transparent. So if I zoom off on this airport, I will load directly all data. And when you switch to that, you see all aircraft on airport. And when you unzoom, there are
clever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there is only one view, and you can create any number of view if you want with each one. It's open. Up, loading. So I open a second view, so I can have a view on this airport, for example, another with the approach, etc., etc. Of course, it's multi-monitor, so you can have a screen for GCI, a screen for ATC. That's really a great change for what you have currently, and will allow powerful things. For example, you can you have a filter for I want only high level aircraft, and get another view with only ground unit or something like that. It's really as you want. There is lots, and in the future, after this version, I will add more and more filters to adapt. So everybody can make what he wants. Because one of the main challenge of LOTATC is that there is a lot of professional that using it for pleasure and more now. And they come from different country, and each country has its own systems. And I was
Ouch.
confronted of that because some guys say, "Oh, it's not like that; it's like that." Okay,
Yeah.
and another, "No, it's like that." Okay, so the main goal is to be customizable for all users. That is why LOTATC has a lot of options. I have not shown you, but you can, for example, change them easily and faster. That's really great to everybody, and you can do your own time, etc., etc.
Great.
And also some great feature like snapping, so it's automatically snap the control, so you have exact value, and if you don't move the snapping, the value is automatically updated. It's work on all, and it's work also on drawing. For example, if I do a drawing, there are some glitch
Nice.
again, and you can yeah. And for drawing, there's system like Photoshop with some layers. You can do layers and share layers. So you can have a layers for all ATC approach. You can have a layers for all targets, etc., etc. And you can share or not the layers. So if I share it, automatically all drawing will be shared with all other controllers of your coalition. It's made a powerful tool and a lot of things very interesting, I think.
Nice. So there's a lot of difference then with the new version.
Yeah, and the map is the performance of display is really good now, and I'm very very happy of that. So I'm very exciting to release that, and it will be a great release again, and a free release as always with LOTATC.
Okay, very good. Good looking. My guys will be looking forward to that. One question I've just thought of, or been thinking of, or always thought of, is who is doing the radar line of sight checks? Is ED doing that, or are you doing your own processing for radar line of sight checks?
No, in fact, in LOTATC, I have a big problem. I said there is that can be 3,000 units and more than 150 radars and more. There is no limit for that. So as you can imagine, it's make a lot of line of sight of check to do. And if I use DCS API, I will destroy the performance of the server. And this is something very very important for me to have a server very low with great performance and low impact on CPU. So I completely develop my own system of line of sight. So I get all data. The terrain data comes from my own database. They are filled with DCS data, so they are coherent with DCS. And then I build a system. I use algorithms that are coming for the video games to optimize line of sight. And generally, I can do more than 10 or 20,000 of check in less than 20 milliseconds. So it's really really important. There is a lot of work on that, and after 10 years, it's really really powerful.
Right, so you're doing your own checks. I had no idea. And you're saying you're using your own terrain data. Is it accurate enough to DCS so that, for instance, if a plane goes into a canyon in DCS, that it will work that out correctly and he'll disappear off the map?
Yeah, I use a resolution of the SRTM maps of NASA, so it's around 10 meters of resolution. So it's really good
Yeah,
and enough for
that's
what
fine.
we are doing. And when I get data from DCS, it's done offline by me on my computer, and then I fill the terrain file, that's the famous relief file in the installer. I get all data with the same resolution. As radar has a search time of 2 seconds here and can be 10 seconds or more. There is no need to be 1 meter precise.
Yep. Because
It's
things are moving so fast, and
nonsense. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. But it's worked very great now. And for example, we work with Siri Bob for SRS, and when you are connected with SRS and LOTATC, all the line sites cannot be done by DCS because the computer has no DCS. So it's done by LOTATC. I provide this algorithm to Siri Bob.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm just going to summarize that to the viewers because just in case they didn't understand. So, what we're saying there is that the majority of the big calculations are actually done by DART in LOTATC here, with regards to can the AWACS or can a radar see a plane or not. It's not being done in DCS. Well, obviously it is for DCS, but it's not being done what we see here. It's being done on the fly by this software, by not even really the DCS map. It's his own generated map that is obviously the same pretty much as DCS's map because it's part of the world, to an accuracy of about 30 feet, which is fine. Obviously, it's about the size of a plane roughly, which gives me a new respect for it. That is doing all of that computation secondary to DCS. So I think that's very clever, and we've never, like I said, we've never seen any problems with it.
Yes, and as for data extracting, it's one of the main tasks to do with LOTATC server in the background, and to be sure that performance is good. And some years ago, there was a problem with performance on server, and I work a lot since 3 years on that, and I divided the times needed by 10 or 20. I know it's really there is no impact. It's false because there is always an impact, but it's really a small impact in performance of server.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, very good. Anything before we move on to the next question?
I can see you just here. I have changed my mission, and for example, as you see up, when you zoom, you have the airport view. So here the contact is not known, but if you change that, you will see, for example, you can say that it's not Bisetsa, too big for Batumi, but push to talk, or yeah, so you will see.
Very clever.
And then if you unzoom, they will disappear and be displayed.
Are those one-to-one scales? Those rasters?
Yeah, it's one-to-one scale if you have the little R here.
Yeah, right.
That tells you that it's okay. So
That's
there is
very clever.
again some bugs, but it's PNG bug, and you can do that on carrier. So I will load the carrier example during next questions.
Very good. Let's move on to the next question. We've already touched on this, but how does LOTAC integrate with Siri Bob's SRS?
Yes, historically, on my squadron, the third wing, we have a guy called Takno that's developing Univer Radio. It's the same things than SRS, but connected with TeamSpeak, and it's the great job for us and develop its own radio. It was our system on third wing, and we work together to integrate radio with LOTATC because it makes sense to have the both connected each other. And once SRS is coming and become bigger and bigger, I have contacted Siri Bob, and we have a great feeling, and we work together to be able to do the same thing with SRS. I know you can connect SRS with LOTATC. It allows you to set your virtual position and be part of the virtual simulation of radio in SRS, but also great feature like a transponder on display. So you can set now with the Hornet, in the last version, you can set transponder, and it automatically gets by SRS locally on the pilot, send to SRS server, then on SRS server, send to LOTATC server, and then treat as a transponder value in LOTATC. So it's really great to work together because we have something really. It's not an easy task to do that, but it's really easy to use now, and it's really great.
Roger, I remember talking to Siri Bob about that new transponder information. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, the next... are we looking at a carrier here? Yes, we are.
Yeah, it's yellow because it's a no. LOTATC no, that it's in blue. So here the collection. So same. It's I fixed some accuracy problem yesterday, so it's no great. And approach is working, and you can fix the view on the carrier and do all approach now with LOTATC. So it's very a great thing. So you can do approach like any other airport. So it's very great. And you can attach drawing now with 2.2 to the Stennis, for example, so you can make a circle around or drawing like that to make Marshall view or something like that. So it will be very great to make control also in the carrier.
Very good. Okay. Right. Again, we've talked about it, but we'll ask anyway. How did the LOTATC get started? Was it a follow-up to another program, or did you kind of build it from scratch, 2006?
The response is the both, because in fact when I begin to start simulation, as I said, in 2006, there was already a program called LOTATC in my squadron, and it was developed by two friends, and they stopped simulation for a lot of reasons. And I get the name of the project and start to rewrite it to make it better. It was a first version of LOTATC. It was in Python at the time, and open source. And when DCS World is coming in 2011, it was no more compatible, so I was obliged to rewrite it again. But I learned a lot of things between this time, and I decided to make it more robust, more powerful, and this is the engine we have now, and that is the story. So LOTATC is my project since that, but it's not me that find the name and begin the first early version. It was a long time ago.
Very good. Okay, for someone who's never used it, can you please explain a bit more about it and the best way to get it? Well, we've explained about it, the basics, and like I said, we've got an hour-long video that we can go, that I'll link if you want to, to see what button to press here and where to drag the mouse there. But can we explain about the best way to get it?
Oh, to get it is really easy. You go to lotatc.com. It's the official website, and you have download here. And you can get the installer. There is only one installer for all software of LOTATC. That is the new thing since last year. And there is demo available, so you can install LOTATC client, and with LOTATC client, the installation process is really easy. You choose the directory, and you select the LOTATC client. You choose the map you want. Don't forget to do that if you want something. So you can choose all terrain or only the one you want. Then you click next and it's installed. Then you can launch it and connect to a server. The main things to not forget is that you need to have LOTATC server on server side. It's not integrated in DCS. So you need to install, and the server is totally free. There is no need of license. Everybody can install LOTATC server with all feature. License is only for the client side.
Roger.
It's allow for server, public server or something like that to install LOTATC without the need of licensing.
Can we go and look at those main versions again and just talk about the difference between those versions? Because I don't know that.
Yeah, since September I have a new version. At start there is only LOTATC clients. That is the standard one that is available since 10 years, and lot of user wants me so more feature, more things, and I think that there is two problems. First, it needs a lot of work. So it costs me a lot. And secondly, this feature is generally not the first one needed. To start, you have no need of all features. So I decided to make a second version that is LOTATC Advanced. It's the same software, only the license is not the same. So it's a different license. And if you have a LOTATC Advanced license, it enables automatically all feature. So you have these two versions, and you can buy LOTATC clients, then make the upgrade to LOTATC Advanced, and it costs you only the difference between the two. So it's really easy to start with the clients, and if you like it, you can switch to the advanced version easily with a small process that is really easy to do. So that is the two versions of the clients. So here to migrate, you have buttons everywhere in the software. So you click on that, and it will automatically recognize your license and propose you the upgrade for $25 only. The other software is different. There is here the LOTATC server, so free, no problem. So this is the server needed on DCS side to get all data from DCS. And I also deliver freely the LOTATC configurator to help server admin to configure server, because there is a lot of options, because there is a lot of possibility between arcade mode to full realistic mode. It's really complex to find. And recently, I also have a new product that's coming from professional side, but I decided also to propose to user. It's LOTATC Generator. The generator is a standalone server, so you don't not need DCS. It's totally separated from DCS, but it allows you to run scenario with contacts and connect with any LOTATC client or advanced to connect to, and have the same view that for DCS. It's really something useful, and the biggest difference is that with generator, you can interact with units. So you can change altitude, you can change heading, you can change their name, you can create a unit dynamically, delete unit dynamically, and in something that is new but really useful to help people to learn how to use a GCI. So I can show you some fast. Here you have a totally new window in LOTATC client that allow you to change the value. So you can, for example, help learning a 2v2 schema, and you put two blue, two red, and you manipulate them and help learning. That it's a tool that has been developed for professional, but I think it could be useful for advanced team that want a tool to learn correctly GCI. Not sure it's very clear, but
I don't know. It's all very good. One follow-up question. A lot of people, at least in the DTS world, that are going to buy this are going to come from squadrons. Is bulk buy available?
so could you repeat, please?
So, yeah, a lot of your customers that come from DCS are going to be groups, like, Grim Reapers. So do you have a kind of bulk buy feature available where you do a discount for selling 20 copies or 50 copies or something like that?
Absolutely, that is something I would like from the start. It's really important for me that we can go group purchasing. So for each product, anyone, you can see here, the same rules for any product. For below 5, it's the same price, but starting for 5 copies, you have a discount. So really interesting for squadron to be equipped, and I have a lot of groups that use that to have purchases.
Very good. Okay, that's cleared all that up. Thank you. We're going to jump on to question 10 now. Is it used only with DCS or with other platforms as well? And what about military use?
Yeah. So I begin to respond to that with LOTATC Generator. That's currently LOTATC server runs with DCS, and LOTATC Generator is running standalone. I will talk about other platform. Currently, there is no other simulator that you are using LOTATC. I have made some tests with Explain or something like that, but it is not released and not enough mature to do that. And I'm not sure I will release it because Explain is more for civilian and not for military. There's already very good software for ATC on this platform, but technically it's possible to put LOTATC on any simulator. I have made some test with BMS with the help of BMS team, but BMS has not the same way to export data, and it's very complicated to export a whole tactical situation that it's needed for LOTATC to compute the radar coverage. So I have not do that, but why not? Perhaps one day I will do that. And to respond to the second question, what about military use? LOTATC Generator has been developed for professional and French Navy. They use it to train their student since start of last year. So it's a really great thing for me. They use LOTATC Generator and LOTATC clients, and they give the first training course for GCI for their students, and the first generation of controllers that has been training by LOTATC is now working on Navy. So it's really great.
Awesome. No, it's great to see yours and the other boys as well, their software getting out there in the, I don't want to say the real world, but outside the DCS world. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, LOTATC has started as a hobby. It was things I like to do on the night and the holidays. and I work a lot of night and lot of holidays. And in 2018, I was working at GoPro, and they closed our building, our society here. So I was without a job, and I start to thinking that LOTATC could be my job, and it was great because it's the same time the French Navy come to me and say, "Oh, we are interested." And since 2 years now, I can work a full-time job for on LOTATC. It's a really I'm very lucky for that, and very happy to do that.
Great. It's the same year I went full time as well. Good. Awesome. Okay, very good. What has changed since the lock-on time? Is it now more information? Sorry, is it now more information that the GCI can use, or is it more about how the information is presented, or both?
Oh yes, the first version I done for LOTATC, so in 2006 or 7. Um, I presented to real controller live in life, and I show him my work. I was very happy to show it, and he see me and say, "You are no understand what is a controller." I am a software developer, not a controller, so I have to learn the control in GCI and learn how it works. And so since this time, I develop a software, and I spend time to learn how to control, how to make GCI, what is the principle, what is the goals, and it's really interesting. So now I have a good view of that, of the work, and I was lucky to participate in a different visit of AWACS. I visit also a command center in French army, and last year I was invited 5 days in the Courier Charles de Gaulle to spend 5 days in sea to see how controller works in place. It's in great opportunity for me, and it gives me a lot of information of how it works, what the controller is doing, how I can enhance LOTATC for that.
That's awesome, because you must have got back after seeing that and thought, "Oh, I've got all these excellent ideas that I can add and change."
Absolutely, and it's a great opportunity. I was as a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. The next question you've already answered. Basically, is the situational awareness driven by actual radars like AWACS and stuff, or does it see all? Yes, obviously it's AWACS and ground radar. That's how it works. And we've talked about how it simulates them. I can't think what else you want to add to that. But anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, but by default, the tactical situation is built with all available radar in the mission. This is the first step for me and works very well. I have also introduced now another concept, that is the mono radar modelization, that allow you to choose which radar you want to monitor. For example, only the AWACS or only the chip, and you get only the radar coverage by this radar. And the next step that is currently working with the LOTATC generator in 2.2 is that I begin implementation of data link. So when you are using mono radar, you have all the CTAC of the AWACS, for example, but also all the coverage of all data link enabled system in the mission. So it's another step in the simulation, and I hope to enable that with DCS by getting who is data link enable, and join what we said before, the idea that one day I would like to connect everything that to DCS data link.
Roger. The next question is what you just said, really, but what's the difference between global mode and mono radar mode? Anything to add with that?
Yes, I'm talking about that. So manual radar mode is to select only the one radar. So each radar is modelized differently. So you can connect to AWACS or ship, and you can have several controllers, one for chip and one for AWACS. And data link is coming to allow more interaction in the near future.
Roger. Next question. How is LOTAC affecting the frame rate when running in conjunction with DTS? Now, this made me think, because I didn't think really that it was designed to be used while running DCS at the same time, because generally for our guys, it's for GCIs only. They don't even run DCS, right? Is there an application, is there a reason to use it while you're actually flying in DCS as well, other than testing?
Yeah. Um, Yeah, you can normally it's designed to be run by controllers, but you can have there is some guys that have DCS running in first screen and LOTATC in second screen to add a picture. It is not realistic, but it can be played like that. No problem with that. And to be back on the frame rate, that's something really important. I have an article, if you are interested, here on a performance server, that where I explain in details all the job I have to done to limit the CPU impact of DCS. So I try to be the more detailed for that, because it's something very important for server owners, and it's our job, and one of the biggest things I have to do in LOTATC. But now it's running great, and impact is really low in DCS.
So you've done a lot of optimization by the sounds of it over the time.
Yeah, I only get parts of groups on each frame rate. You have to know that in DCS, all exporting and all LUR things you do are always do before 2 frames. So the more time you take between 2 frames, the low FPS you have on the server side.
Yeah.
So if I take 1 second between the 2 frames, it's a catastrophe and will not working. But if I take only a few milliseconds, it's have a low impact. That's the goal of LOTATC server scheduler. That I search the word that cut all in small parts and put one part on each frame to allow to make it linear on the time.
Yeah.
But see my article if you are interested. I try to be the more complete on this subject.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that article as well. That'll be interesting read for a lot of people. Very good. Okay, stand by. Do you need extensive training to operate LOTATC program? And if so, where can I find this info?
To learn LOTATC is not very complex. The complexity will be if you want to be useful for a pilot. I want to say, if you do a 1 versus 1, it's relatively easy to learn how to do, and you have to start with this kind of things, 1-to-1, 2 versus 2 pilots, and then go further and further. But if you start with a mission of, for example, a get server or something like that, with a lot of pilots, lot of situation, it will be very complex for you, because you have to manage a lot of things. But if you start with small things in training with in squadron, it's really good to learn. The learning curve is very great. It's like chess, as I said before. You have to first knowing how to move each kind of piece, and then you can make a chess game complete.
Roger. Next, away from LOTAC, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and your background if you want to?
Yes, I can. I am software engineer, I have 42 now, so I'm not a young people more.
I know the feeling.
And I'm living in the Alps, so in the mountains, and I am someone that love that. I love mountains, snow, and everything else. I love also photography. I spend a lot of time to make photography for planes, but also for birds or anything the nature. It's very something important for me. And what I can say over, I also a gamer.
Of course.
I love gamer, so like a lot of us. And uh, well, that's great. I have two child that are happy now because I working in the weekday and no more in the weekend. So they
Yeah.
are happy. But well, that's me. I'm not someone with a lot of things. I like things simple.
Good man. That's the way to do it. Okay, very good. Next, how can you? I think we've answered this, but we'll just quickly go over it. How can you manage to display and get info on a large group of aircrafts? Is the program dividing them into small groups or single ship ones? And does it prioritize the nearest enemy planes over the cold ones or those that are a long way off and of little threat? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I see the questions. When you get from DCS, I was obliged to get all the picture. So yes, I make group because asking all the picture at the same time that it's a problem with TACView. I know that friends talk about that in your interview, but when you ask DCS to get all information, it's quite consuming, and I need it regularly. So I prefer to ask parts, group of 50 units, for example, regularly, and then I rebuild the complete picture on my side. And all the stuff to build the picture is totally multi-threaded and multi-core. That is why the impact is low in DCS. But yes, I was obliged to make division of a smaller group for that.
Okay. If you had to figure out what was the one kind of biggest challenge, the biggest difficulty in making LOTAC from beginning to end, what would that have been?
Certainly, this is interaction because I'm when this year starts third-party program, I was in the first one to be interested with us. So I have a lot of contact with us. I have the statue on the forum for third party, but I am not under contract with them. And so I have not access to everything, and I have to found by myself all that I need. And my data is very unique because all third party are generally for creating planes or helicopters, but not to get all data from all the CS. So I'm alone, and there is not standard API for that. So I have to work on these things and be able to fund that. During years, it was difficult to discuss with ED with that, but since I think 2 or 3 years, discussion is really more easier, and I'm very happy of that because the interaction is better with them, and I have no good contact with other developers. So when I need some things, they help me to find. So it's better and better, and I hope it's continuing this way.
Roger, very good. Last question for today. Is there enough support towards third-party developers, in your opinion, so they can create more and expand their ideas? Now, I'm assuming this means support from ED. That's how I read it. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, I think so. The third party is a good thing. I think this is the way that DCS is growing since years, and it's important. There, of course, there is some limitation and some problem. We know them, but it's a great thing because it's DCS is a platform and you need to develop around the things more negative is that, as I said, the third party was a lot on new planes, new items, new aircraft, but not for new things around like I am, like SRS or like TagView. And I think ED could be better in support for extra software like us because these three software are really important, I think, in DCS world. A lot of users use it, and I think the experience of DCS without SRS TagView and LOTATC will be less immersive. So I think we need super and more access to that. So, but as I said before, it's better and better. I think that it's something that ED is aware of. So I hope in next month and year this super is increased for us.
Okay, well, don't forget that we have a certain amount of access as well, so we'll always be there to help. And we've got some guys that are real big fans of yours as well, kind of guys in GR that are kind of hidden in the background doing the nerdier stuff. So you're always welcome to come and bug us, should I say.
Thanks.
Okay, Dart. Before I do my kind of sign off, I thought that was wonderful, to be honest. I didn't have to work at all. You just talked, which was great. Anything you want to say before I do our sign off?
I would like to thank all the community. LOTATC community is very great, is increasing, and I get a lot of good support for everybody. I think it's important nowadays that to have a good community with no haters or bad guys or something like that. I am lucky because this community is really great. They help me a lot, and I would like to thank them all. And I would like also to thank my team because they support me since 14 years now, the third wing, and especially my squadron of Hornet because I also spend a lot of time to fly because I love that. And I'm leader of my squadron, the VFA 103.
I do apologise. I've missed one question, and you've just reminded me of it. It said, "What was your favourite module in DCS, and do you fly yourself in DCS?" Quite an important one.
Yes, I fly a lot. I start with F-15, F-50 a long time ago, then I-10 for long years. Then as French, I switched with Mirage. And now I fly Hornet since the start of the release of Hornet. I am leader of the VFA 103 at the third wing. I'm leader of 11 pilots, and yes, I fly. I hope two or three times by week. Yes, it's important for me because I am first a pilot and then a developer.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Okay, well, to summarise then, that was the third in our three-part series of the three big external add-ons for DCS, SRS, LOTAC, and TACView. As the Grim Reapers, we couldn't do without them. Simple as that. We could not do without TACView. We need it for all sorts of reasons. We couldn't do without SRS. It would just be just crap without it, to be honest. And we couldn't do, personally, I don't use LOTATC for obvious reasons, but the group couldn't do without LOTATC. It's as simple as that. It's excellent software. And now, I didn't know these guys. I didn't know Bob, I didn't know Dart, and I didn't know France before these interviews. But the other good thing, and the most important thing for me, is that talking to them, they're just really nice guys. And for me, that's just the most important thing of all. To surround yourself with nice guys and to find these guys just really pucker, genuine, honest, and giving guys makes it all just the better for doing it. So great. So thank you for giving up your time, Dart. I will now let you go and work on your new version or whatever you're going to do. Absolutely wonderful. Keep doing it, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you, and thank you for your time. It was very great to talk with you, and good luck and stay safe for all.
You too. Okay, bye, Dart.
Goodbye.